have done well. You've passed every test. This scroll is your license as Master of Ninjutsu.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Cannon Cruisers. I'm JD.
And I'm Randy.
And we're here today to talk about the 1981 action movie Enter the Ninja.
Enter the Ninja.
Starring Franco Nero.
Voiced by Mark Smith.
Okay.
I'll explain that in a second, but yeah.
And
Susan George and Sho Kosugi.
Yep, Sho Kosugi.
Sho Kosugi, sorry.
The film starts as an ex-military man named Cole finishes up his ninjutsu training and goes off to find his old friend in the Philippines.
Named Frank.
And when he arrives, he finds his friend is in quite the pickle. He's being pushed around and his land is under threat. So what does he do? He decides to fight back. And fight back he do.
But only fight back in self-defense. Never once initiating the action.
Ninja never murders. He only
defends.
So,
when you're burning down villages and you're laughing maniacally with torches.
So, suffice to say, this is the first movie we're doing in 1981, and it is the first action movie that Cannon Films put out. It's also the first ninja action movie, because this was the very first one that started the trend.
The ninja craze, if you will.
The ninja craze of the 1980s. This was pretty much the catalyst to it all.
The thing that jumped out at me while watching this movie was how much the very basic plot structure of it would be echoed over and over again at other movies, especially in like a Steven Seagal film of like later 80s, early 90s.
And a lot of people, if they watched this after about 30 years of ninja movies and whatnot, they would probably be surprised at how often they have to explain in this movie what a ninja is.
Because I was giggling because of just his delivery. It's like, he is a follower of ninjutsu, a practice from out of Japan, in which it's like, oh, that was like one of the best deliveries in the movie. Because
nobody knew what ninjutsu was at the time.
He picked up a textbook and was reading a page out of it to explain to his boss.
Ninja. Other than the fact that it's the very first one, I would go as far as to say this is probably Cannon's first good movie. This was Cannon's first good movie that we've seen, although there might have been one we missed. There's been a few we had to skip. Nonetheless, for a first action movie, is actually quite well done. It didn't have a large budget. The direction was pretty sparse, but with what they had, they pulled it off pretty well, and I can see why it was a surprise success at the box office for them.
It's like, as I put it, it's like going budget-wise, it looked very much like a very high-quality TV pilot, which is not knocking anything against it. It just, that's what it looked like. Mm-hmm. It's like, I was more impressed by the fact that the stunts were all very much practical and not...
Yes, the stunts were actually pretty good, especially the action scenes. The very last one, when Cole goes through the building, it's pretty brutal. There's a good bloodshed. There's no real gore, because this is before action movies really went over the top with that, which we'll probably see in much later movies than this.
Yeah, I would almost feel like it's a nigh bloodless film. There is blood, but not...
You won't see like limbs flying about or guts spilling. You'll see blood. You'll see people screaming and dying,
and laughing maniacally.
Which is where we have to get to. Sho Kosugi, who plays the bad guy, he's in all three of the Ninja trilogy movies that Cannon put out, which is Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and Ninja Resurrection. This one he plays a bad guy, and he's pretty bad.
Ninja 3 The Domination.
Ninja 3 The Domination. Okay. I was thinking of a bad anime.
Jubei, no!
Oh, God, that was awful.
Yeah.
But as for this, I was pleasantly surprised with it. I like action movies in general, but considering this was so early, 1981... and before a lot of the standards were adopted, I'm pretty sure a lot of them came from this movie. Actually, it was a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
If I were to rate this one, I'd probably give it, I'd say 4 out of 5. I was considering a 3, but I just enjoyed it too much. I'm gonna have to go with a 4.
I'd still give it a 3 for my sake, for my high standards. But it's like, keep in mind that when I gave the previous films a 1, I more than likely wanted to give them a 0. So it's like
we went through some crap. So this is kind of a jump from that. It's like leapfrogging pretty high.
Yes, very high in comparison. Ninja high, if you will.
Oh, yes. So you can tell why, with this movie, Cannon went in a completely different direction from what they were going for before. There's a few more horror movies after this, and they'll probably be as bad as the last one we reviewed.
Nothing can be as bad as New Year's Evil.
maybe not that bad, but...
I am evil.
Oh, maybe not that bad, but I can tell that Cannon saw the success of this movie and decided to capitalize. That's why they eventually became the powerhouse of 80s action movies.
Yeah, it's like the mix of like camp, the mix of like good action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really was a strong point. The acting, on the other hand, some of it wasn't very good.
Some of it has to do with the dubbing.
Some of it has to do with the dubbing. The lead character, Cole, Franco Nero, they had to dub over his voice. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it too much. I've done the research.
It's because of his accent, and that he wasn't very good at speaking English.
That they had to
although I don't know if he was about as bad as early Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I can understand why they did it. And to be perfectly fair, a lot of the time he's talking, you don't actually see his lips moving.
Yeah,
he's kind of facing away.
Yeah,
so.
they think they very deliberately shot it in such a way that you very rarely saw him actually speaking.
Yes.
It's like you see a lot of shots from like nose up, from the side, from the back,
or in the middle of an action scene,
or from far away. You would never see a lot of him like straight on stare at the camera, except for when he was mugging for the camera. Overall, he was very charismatic in front of the camera.
Yes, you were telling me before your favorite character in the movie was...
Oh, God. So the villain, Venarius, Charles Venarius, his henchman, Mr. Parker. Oh, my God. He is as British as you can get.
And he has the best lines.
And he has some of the best lines in the movie just because he's just so blasé about everything. It's very much like, oh, okay, if he was Japanese, I think he would have enjoyed his harikari. Anyways, the boss would like to meet you.
I like your suit. Who's your tailor?
Yeah, it's like a lot of things like...
Oh, man. That was good stuff.
It's like, he did not want to kill me. He didn't kill me because he wants to kill you. It's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the movie actually started off surprisingly strong. It started off with an action scene right off the bat of ninjas in a forest, which turns out eventually, obviously, to be a training sequence.
I found it was a very good use of what you would call show, don't tell. It's like, very much, they didn't just come out and give you, like, I'm giving you exposition, partially because I guess the actor wasn't capable of that. They showed everything about who he was, about his history, through actually showing it on the screen.
Yeah,
you get this his training. You understand why through flashbacks why he went into that training.
Even his relationship with his friend they showed through 2 different flashbacks, and they never lingered on it other than that. So it got the point across pretty well. Also, I think it's important to mention is that the action sequences are really good for a movie of this era. 1981, especially American action movies, were not known for hand-to-hand close combat action sequences. There were a few movies, but not to this level. And for a first real try at it, Cannon did a really good job, and I'm really looking forward to see how it evolves in the future. But enough about that. I want you to listen to this trailer. This trailer is brilliant.
The first martial art to sweep the modern world was jiu-jitsu, closely followed by the discipline of karate. Then we were taught to combine the spiritual with the physical by the masters of kung fu. And now, the Cannon Group is proud to introduce the practitioner of the oldest and ultimate martial art, the ninja.
That was a look at Enter the Ninja, the first good movie the Cannon Cruisers have looked at thus far. Thank you for waiting this long if you waited. If not, please come back and watch. We promise there are good Cannon movies, and that was one of them. So next time, we should first we should mention that if you're listening to this later on, you might be a bit confused because we put up New Year's Evil before the Apple, even though the Apple came out first. That was because we couldn't find the Apple. For a movie as infamous as the Apple is, it was surprisingly tricky to find and get a hold of. Up next is the movie Hospital Massacre, another slasher film.
Released in 1982.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this might be another bad one, so...
Please hang in there.
It's like, this is only the next movie if I can get a hold of it.
Yes, if we can get a hold of it, which is might be a problem. So if you're watching this and you can see the comments below, please comment and let us know where we can find them, if you please. We appreciate it. Okay, that's it for us. We're the Cannon Cruisers. I'm JD.
I'm Randy, and keep cruising the catalog.
Keep cruising that Cannon catalog.
You have won with honor. Allow me to die with honor. Oh. Cut the dead. honor.